Is your workday overrun by meetings where you don't even utter one word in the entire time that you're sitting in on that meeting? You're not even sure why you were invited in the first place, but for some reason you went and you just ended up wasting your time. You didn't get any work done, and now you have to make up that time later and maybe even stay late, all because you couldn't get out of that meeting. I'm going to give you two really simple strategies that I use. One of them is to avoid going to those meetings in the first place that you know are going to be a waste of time. And the other one is how to get out of those meetings if you somehow got sucked in and you didn't realize they'd be a waste of time and now you just need to get out. So the first thing you need to do is, if you are invited to a meeting where you're pretty sure it's going to be a waste of your time, you don't even want to go in the first place, you're not even sure why you're invited, or maybe you know why you're invited, but you just don't want to listen in. What I always do in this case is I write back to the meeting organizer and I basically say something along the lines of this: hey, I see you invited me to this meeting. I'm not sure if I'll be able to contribute much. I have a lot of work to do, and I was planning on using this time to work on this important project I have that I need to get done, by a certain deadline. Let me know if I'm absolutely necessary for this meeting to run. If not, please just send me any necessary meeting notes and I'll review them later. All right, this is a great tactic that I use all the time, because you're showing that you will attend the meeting if you're needed, but you're making them tell you that you're needed. You're not saying, oh, hey, let me know if I'm not needed and I won't join. You're saying, hey, I'm not going to join unless you explicitly tell me that I need to be there. And that way you're showing them that your default is to not join. They have to go out of their way to get you to join. And if they're just adding you to listen in, they're not going to go through that effort to tell you to join. It's too much work on their end. And it's also, you're not being rude, because you're telling them, I have this other work to do, important deadlines coming up. I was going to utilize this time. It was already allocated for, and now you're trying to take that time away. Now, the other strategy is for if you're already in a meeting that you just aren't participating, it's just a complete waste of your time. You're starting to multitask and you're disengaged and you're just like, I don't want to sit here for another 45 minutes. I'd rather just get out as soon as possible and just not have to waste more time in here. I've found that the best tactic here is very similar to the first one, where you basically just make it clear that you have very important work to do and it would be better served for you to be outside of the meeting than inside the meeting. And so it can go something like this. Typically what I'll do is maybe I'll message the meeting organizer, because I don't want to disrupt the meeting. I'll just message them and I'll say, hey, if it's okay with you, I have some really important work I really need to get done as soon as possible. Based on what I've heard so far, I think if I just get, Sally to debrief me later, I'll get the information I need. Let me know if you need me for something we're going to cover in the next, 45 minutes. Otherwise, I'm going to head out. Now, you might feel kind of like, ooh, I don't know if I want to do that. That seems kind of confrontational. It's really not, because again, if someone is inviting you to a meeting and they are taking an hour of your time, they better use that time, because otherwise they're basically just saying they don't value your time. And by being a little bit more assertive and telling them, hey, if I'm not necessary here, I'm going to go do work that's actually important, in that kind of subtle way, they start to learn that your time is very valuable, and they're only going to start inviting you to meetings where you're necessary, because they are going to realize it's a reflection on them that they shouldn't have invited you to the meeting in the first place. So that's really what you have to remember is, anytime you're feeling kind of like, oh, should I do this? Should I not? Just think about it. They're taking your time, and you have to show them, you have to set boundaries on your time and show them that it's valuable, because there's a lot of people I work with that they don't ever set that boundary, and they just get invited to meetings like crazy. They have meetings, they'll have 3 meetings at the same time, all overlapping, and they're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know which one to join. And it's not necessary. Most of the time they're literally just listening in, or the information they got, they could have just gotten out of meeting notes. It would have taken them 5 minutes to read the notes. Instead, they sit in on an hour-long meeting, and they don't get any work done in all that time. So those are things to remember. I hope those strategies really help you. I'm telling you, they do work. It might feel kind of hard to do them at first, but just try them at least once. You'll be surprised. People will really start to respect your time. You won't get invited to these pointless meetings as much, and you will really get more work done. All right, I hope this helped you. Please smash the like button if it did, and subscribe if you haven't already.